In a nightmare for the RSPCA, the Plains shoot down the Eagles. Dreamland on Sunday, Dreamtime on Friday.
Contest, balls to the back, and on debut, Ridewood with a dream first goal for Essendon. Ridewood intercepts, has a think about a second goal, bounce is unbelievable. Goal just a few minutes ago, runs around, does she have the distance and the accuracy? Maggie McLaughlin with a special finish. And Ridewood intercepts the debutant to a fellow debutant. Bellany, eyes wide up. She has her first goal.
This is a Sash W, definitely not the official podcast of Essendon Football Club's women's side. What a game. Absolute nail biter. I don't understand the feeling of winning close games.
I was so sure we were going to lose. And I think it's like, just the history of watching the men's team in close matches, that this impending sense of doom.
Yeah.
Especially when they hit the front. I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna not be able to get it anywhere near our goals for the next 2 minutes and it'll be over.
It certainly didn't help that there were some yellow grubs trying to facilitate that, but we will get into that a little bit later. Before we really get stuck in to the weekend's action, let's hear from Cordo. I know she's been up to a little bit.
My friends, coming to you from the Eurostar in between Paris and London. I'm on my way back to the UK, popping down to Birmingham, I don't know. Coming to Birmingham for a couple of days just to see some family, and then a couple of days left in London, and then I'm on my way home. I'm so excited to see you all, and I'm so excited to go to some bloody football. Yeah, looking forward to the next game. Again, no idea where I'm going to be. When's it on? Can someone tell me? Someone drop it in the Discord. But yeah, it'll be great to watch, and I'll probably be, I'm guessing, somewhere. I'll either be in London or I'll be in transit on the way back to Australia. So, yeah, very excited to see if we can go 3-zip and 3 on the trot. Great way to start the season. And as for the men's, I'm excited to see how we go against Gold Coast with our little extra game at the end of the season, considering that game was forfeited or like scrapped at the start of the year. I think it would be very funny if we beat the Suns, and just kind of like, made things a little bit annoying for those vying for finals. Just get in there and be little shits basically. If you can't make finals, you may as well make it annoying for everyone else to try and lock their finals ladder in. All right, I will see you guys soon. Hopefully next week, I think. Yeah, I get back in on the 1st, so hopefully I'll be awake and somewhat alive to be able to come and chat. So I'll see you really soon. Miss you all. Up the plains.
Thank you very much, Cordo. We have absolutely loved hearing from you over the last couple of weeks. Thankfully, like she said, she'll be back next week to take back the hot seat. I know, I'm sure the listeners are keen for her to take back the hot mic, as I am. She's been in some pretty nice places over the last few weeks. Berlin, Bruges, Lyon.
Brussels, was there?
And now she's going to Birmingham.
Yeah, I was going to say Birmingham.
Ending the trip on Birmingham.
Yeah, family in Birmingham as well. Who would have thought?
Oh, well, I mean, there's no other reason to be going.
That is true. That is the only reason to go. Or Edgbaston. That's the only other reason to go to Birmingham.
I made the mistake of going to Birmingham once to see some Peaky Blinder spots.
Oh, yeah.
Got there and then found out it was all in Liverpool. So
yeah.
There's literally nothing to be doing there. I do like, though, that her thinking of ruining stuff for the Gold Coast. I'd love to see Dimmer cry on Wednesday night. That sounds pretty nice to me.
I was looking at the scores from the Gold Coast Port game, and I just completely forgot that we were playing them when they had another game to go. I'm like, why isn't this a bigger story that they've just finished 9th? And then it took me like a couple of hours to be like, oh yeah, that's right. They've got another chance to which they'll probably win. But yeah, it would be great.
What are the chances we can get Bont and Libber on a one-game loan? Yeah. Come up with them.
Yeah, they'd be up for that, I reckon.
Oh, surely. I'll hit Bevel up after the recording. All right. Essendon, 4 goals, 7, 31. Defeat Wet Toast Eagles, 4 goals,
Wet
26. 2 goals to 2 good. Lock it in every day for her. G and Alexander, of course, the others. 2,600 filling the hill on Sunday. And congratulations to everyone that went down. You saw an absolute cracker. I'm sure you all enjoyed it, and I'm pretty jealous of that.
Yeah, the players as well, like every interview I've seen after the game made a point of talking about how loud it was. And it was. Like, I replayed the final 20 seconds about 8 times.
Yeah.
And the noise was actually like really something when that mark was taken. So, yeah, everyone who got down there did a good job.
I think it was Alexander after the match was talking about the noise and said that it was louder that day at Windy Hill than it was round one at Marvel against the Hawks with 12,000 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like it's a small ground and you're so close to it, you know, like...
The stand's really up over the top of the ground.
Yeah, whereas at Marvel, it's like, you know, you're quite set back.
Yeah.
And obviously it's much bigger ground and all that.
And I mean, it's going to be loud when you kick a goal with 10 seconds to go to win the game, I guess, isn't it? Before we get into that last-minute goal, let's start with some goods first. The first being the midfielders, again, taking care of business week in, week out, as we expect at this point.
Yeah. And just it's just so good to see them backing up what they did in round one. I heard them mention on commentary that we were the number 1 contested team in round one in the league. And Eagles were actually like 17th or something. So it was like a clash of styles in this game. But just like our mix through midfield is just so much better than it's ever been before. And yeah, I mean, like standout performances. Like we'll get on to Gaylor because she was just, I mean, she is the truth.
Yeah. Like we had no doubts in our mind that she'll be a superstar of the competition. But I mean, it's just
happened quick.
That's what it was. Yeah. On Sunday, it was a phenomenal performance, and I mean, games half as good as that would get me excited.
Yeah, I mean, like just her stats: 21 disposals, 6 marks, 3 of those contested. Massive
Big
clunks
ones.
as well.
Yeah.
Actually, the one that she took, I think it was in the second quarter, has been nominated for Mark of the Year.
Yeah, nice.
And it should win out of the ones for this week at least because it was some mark.
She had like 3 players just sort of bounce off her as she's gone up for us.
And she's not like the biggest unit in the world, so you know the hops and everything. And she didn't have like a lift off anyone. She just kind of like flew in from the side. It was great. 8 tackles, a few holding the balls in there. 6 clearances, team high meters gained, 321 meters. It was just, it was a top performance. 10 coaches' votes as well this week.
Yeah. I mean, it's just been so nice seeing her get so much midfield minutes, centre bounce attendances. Like, she's just so fucking good.
Yeah, Nat Wood said after the game, I think in her presser, that Gaylor's been training all preseason in midfield and she's spending 99% of her time there, which is great. Like we saw it happen at the end of last year that they were moving her around quite a bit. And like, you know, she started purely as a flanker. And then it's kind of like what I imagine is going to happen with Zippy Fish up at Sydney because she's playing back flank, but she's so good that by the end of the season, she'll be playing midfield. But yeah, like our clearance numbers this week were a huge differential. It was 30 to 13, 17 more clearances than them. And, you know, it's so good to see that we're like just a really strong unit in there now. Yeah.
And it's not like West Coast's weakness isn't their midfield players. No. Like Roberts, who got towed up by Nanscorn so badly that they had to shift her into the forward line.
That happened quick.
It did so quick. The writing was on the wall from the first bounce, I think. Let's have a look at the other midfielders in that group, Nanscorn and Press Parkers. I call them the other midfielders, but that's very disrespectful. Exactly what you get from them. Every single week we rock up and say, how good are these two? It's like Zach Merritt. You know?
Yeah. You just set your watch.
Every week you go, oh, yeah, he was probably best on ground. Who was second best? Now that's the discussion.
Yeah.
It's the same with these guys. It's just relentless.
Yeah, and especially if you consider like missing Steph Wales, who, you know, obviously is a huge presence for her ruck work, but also like her midfield work, her clearance work, all that kind of stuff. So to have such a step up as a midfield group without the first choice ruck there is, and it was like last week we spoke about, the ruck battle was fairly even. But this week we got towed up in hit outs, and yet we still won clearances, or more than double.
Hit outs were 33-8.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
And I mean,
So that's like 4 times the amount of hit outs, and we had double the amount of clearances.
Yeah.
So you can just see they get to work on the ground.
I can't even imagine what would have happened if we, were getting the first touch of the ball with Wales there.
Yeah, so it's something to look forward to as well when she comes back.
Absolutely, which, still haven't heard a huge amount, but I think it is pretty close. We'll see.
Well, I remember when the injury list came out last week that I looked through the other teams' injury list. I'm not sure I saw a TBC. Maybe there was like one in the league, and we have 2. And I'm getting pissed off about it, and I'd really like the club to just make some definitive call. Because they could be wrong. It's fine to be wrong.
Yep.
But this fucking TBC nonsense I can't be dealing with.
Give me a range, and it doesn't even have to be a good one. You could say 1 week to 6 weeks, and I'd prefer that over TBC.
Yeah, just something like some sort of spectrum that because who knows what that means.
Potentially with the medical staff being TBC at the moment, that might be a factor.
I'm not sure if that's for the women as well. Maybe it is.
Who knows? Let's move on to Bonnie.
It seems like Bonnie had a bit of a mare this week, especially in front of goal. I mean, her tackling pressure was great, but her scoring opportunities were just so wasted. It was devastating to see her miss twice in a minute right in front of goals in that third quarter. Very funny. I'm very glad that she did get that third shot on goal, though, from that really hard angle, just to, prove to everyone and also to herself that she can hit those targets. But yeah, some of those, I don't know whether it was just coming off the wrong side of the boot or what, but it was just, devastating to see that inaccuracy. And, we're glad, I'm hoping it's not the yips. Like, fingers crossed, knock on wood that it's not the yips, but 2 shots that should have been absolutely easy for her, and she managed to flop them.
Interesting game. Bit of a difference between the goods and the bads for Bonnie. I'll start with the bads in quotation mark. A few.
It's just goal kicking. Really.
Yeah. Missed a couple from directly in front that you'd put your house and your child on her scoring.
You would lose that child.
Yeah. But the good, I would say, she's missed those 2 from in front, and 30 seconds, a minute and a half later,
Dobs one from the boundary.
Like as tight on that right hand side as you could get, dobs it through. So
by far the harder shot of the 3.
Yeah, the XG of that one was pretty low.
It was low, yeah. But yeah, like I get what you mean, like the sort of mental fortitude to not let that affect her.
Yeah.
I was actually I watched back that set shot, the one she kicked, a few times because I was trying to work out, even on that shot, she does this quite a bit. The ball tends to like helicopter in sort of, it comes off the boot all right, and then it starts to helicopter by the end of it, which is, I'm guessing, why she's a bit wayward sometimes. Because she's generally a pretty good kick. But
powerful kick at the very least.
Yeah, like she makes good contact, and she's not like, I don't know, like, when Bannister takes a shot, sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's just, like, it just shanks it.
Yeah.
Bonnie never shanks it, but she quite often just miss, and it's just not quite perfect sort of connection. And I couldn't really work out, even watching it back a few times. Like, I remember watching Scotty, and you could just see that their sort of setup and the ball was sort of being moved around and like waving the ball.
The washing machine kind of
approach.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't, a clean, simple sort of everything in a straight line setup. Whereas Bonnie's looked fine. So, I don't know, we'll have to pay more attention and see if we can work out what's going wrong there.
She did follow up those 2 misses with one in the fourth quarter that made things a little bit more spicy than they needed to be. Let's talk about that last quarter a touch before we get into some other things. We could have capitalised and burnt that game far, far earlier than with 10 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Bonnie missing one, Dyke missing one, the Yellow Grubs gifting a couple of goals. It was just a little bit more tense than I needed as I was driving home.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I think that game was very much like there were swings in momentum, but even when either team was in ascendancy, they were finding it difficult to score. Like defences were on top on both sides. And I think we had the run of it in the last quarter and then just got caught out the back a couple of times. Actually, one thing I want to speak about that was a good, and I spoke about it last week, is Bush's chase down tackles.
Yeah.
And I think structurally we need to think about that she needs to be around the last line most of the time.
Little sweeper.
Because when she's not there, we got burnt out the back both times because she wasn't, wherever she was up the field. But no one else has the pace to sort of chase someone in. Whereas I feel like I've got confidence in her that she will make the tackle.
She's got that pace as well as the power to execute the tackle really nicely. It's all well and good being a speed demon, but if you're just going to get shaken off, what's the point? But Bushy really has both of those things, which is, so nice to have in a great lockdown defender.
Yeah.
Spread from stoppage, you wanted to speak about, Ari, here.
Yeah, I just thought I think, I'm not sure if it's our first goal, it's Bonnie's first goal for sure. That was like textbook what we're trying to do with ball movement. It was, I think, a ball up sort of just backwards of the wing. And spoke about it last week. Gaylor wins it. Quick hands from stoppage to Sophie van der Heuvel, who's flashing past. She kicks it into the centre square to Bannister, holds it up, gives the 1-2 back to Sophie, who's again flashing past, and then laces out Bonnie, who's on the lead. It was just, we moved it really quickly from inside to outside, and we had the good users using the ball on the outside. And we'll speak about Sophie because she's going to miss the rest of the season, which is really unfortunate. But
we'll get into that. That was going to be in our bad section, but let's get into that now. It's going to be a massive loss. I mean, that play you just described is so characteristic of her and what she can bring to the side. So it will be a massive loss. If you don't know, she went down with another PCL on the same knee as last year, and she has been confirmed out for the season this afternoon by Megan Smith, Head of Medical Services. Just a devastating one. We really missed her last year, and she was playing some really good football at the start of this season.
Yeah, she plays a really crucial role for us, and we'll have to, I guess, move the pieces around a little bit to get. I think we have other players who can do that. Like Steph Kane can probably do it.
Yeah,
and she's playing mostly like a wing sort of thing, but we could sort of move things around. I think I wouldn't mind seeing them try Holly Ridewood.
Yeah,
doing it.
Yeah.
Because I think she's got the kicking skills and the pace and all that. And that's basically like what we're talking about here is pace and game sense as well, reading of the play, and then the good foot skills. Maggie McLaughlin maybe could do that.
Yep. I would say Gaylor, but keep her in the guts.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to take Gaylor. That's the thing. Because now missing Sophie, we're going to have to take someone out of where they were.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can afford to pull that midfield apart.
Yeah.
Whereas because we've got Gaylor doing her thing now, and we've got someone like Bellany who's playing midfield minutes. We don't need Steph Kane in the stoppages so much. And I think she has that pace and line breaking ability and foot skills to do that. I think probably Georgia G could do that as well.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what they do with it this week, but she's going to be a big miss because she's a crucial part of our team.
And it's also going to be those same magnets will have to get shifted around when Maddie Gay comes back into the side as well a little bit. We might be able to plug that hole up, but again, we don't really know how far away Gay is away.
Yeah, I think, the times when I really notice Maddie Gay missing is more when we're trying to exit D50. I think early in this game against the Giants as well, there are times where we were getting the ball we'd get the ball, we'd recover the ball in our D50, and then it'd get turned over sort of on the flanks in the first kick out of the 50. And I think that's where we miss Maddie Gay a lot, because she was often that exit kick, or she was someone that could take a contested mark from one of those kicks.
Yeah.
I think, we're missing that a bit. I think we are sort of problem solving for it in mid game, which is why we're fixing that up. And the good thing is that our midfield group and our stoppage work is so good that we don't have to transition from the back line every time.
It's a good point.
Because we're winning it at source so often.
Yeah.
But I mean, Maddie Gay will make a big difference when she comes back for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I wanted to touch on Gamble. Didn't do a whole lot last week, but as a key back, that's not always the role that you play. But she was so impressive on Sunday. Played as a bit more of an interceptor. Came across a few times. Took some really nice contested marks in the D50.
Yeah, great marks.
Yeah. Really, really solid down back. So that would be fantastic to see more of that.
The positives of this game is that our defensive work was quite good. I mean, you're looking at all of the forward entries that West Coast made in that first quarter, repeated entries, and they could only convert it into a scoring opportunity, in the last minute. And that was off a paid 50. So, obviously our defense side is working really well, but I think we need to start converting that into scoring opportunities. Absolute dream to watch Maddie P and Georgia and Scorn working so well together in the mids. It's really beautiful to watch them. They're kind of like a little well-oiled machine in there, and they really support and assist each other to get the ball moving through that space, and it's just beautiful football to see.
The back line in general has performed really well over the 2 weeks.
Hold out really well. We spoke about last pod that West Coast have taller options than GWS did. And so there'll be a lot more of an aerial battle than there was last week, and we saw it, and we dealt with it really well. Yeah, I mean, Gaylor dropping back took some great defensive marks, and like you said, Gamble was great as well. I thought also Taya Chambers was quite impressive.
Yeah. She showed in her first game. She showed glimpses, but there were a couple of moments on Sunday that really, really stood out and showed what she can deliver coming into the back end of the year. Yeah,
I think she last week she was outshone a little bit because, obviously we spent so much time attacking last week that, Rydewoods and Bellanius and all these people were sort of getting more of a note, whereas I think she really stood out this week. She probably had the best game of the new recruits.
Yeah, I would say that's the case. 2 games we've played so far, we conceded 26 points against West Coast on the weekend and only 29 against GWS the week before. Obviously not the two most, prolific teams in the league, but if you keep a team to below 30 points, you are more likely to win than not. So,
especially when you consider the conditions, sun shining, beautiful, dry, it was perfect conditions for footy.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, well done to that defensive unit. G again has been showing some great signs. Last week we said that she had played probably her best game for the Sash. Maybe bettered this week. Showed a real fortitude in kicking that goal. Set one up obviously towards the end with that nice little snap over the corner. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think last week she was. No, it wasn't better or worse. She was great this week as well, but I think she had more of an impact last week, a lot more of the ball. But yeah, she's put together 2 really good games in a row and just involved in a lot of passages of play, which is good. That's always been our knock on her. It's not what she does when she does have it. It's that she drift out and go missing and sort of find it hard to get into the game a fair bit, whereas she's been sort of very integral to a lot of what we've done in our forward line so far this year. And I love that she took the set shot. I'm not sure I've ever seen her actually take a set shot at goal. She always seems to pass late, and it was great, and she nailed it. She should trust herself more.
Speaking of passing it late, am I being a little bit of a naysayer by saying that maybe she was having a shot at goal with 14 seconds to go? Or do you think that snap was intentional?
I don't think so. because I don't think she would have thought she was ever going to make the distance from there. Like, I don't think, I don't know if she saw Sophie Alexander coming, and I don't know if that was the case. I think she was maybe just putting it in an area.
Out,
yeah, but I doubt she was actually going for goal, because on all evidence, she usually underrates her ability to kick a distance, not overrates it.
True.
So she was like 40 out when she took that. So
yeah, that's true. In another post-game interview with Alexander, she was saying that in the dying minutes, I think it was Bannister telling her, stay deep, stay deep, stay deep. And Alexander was saying to herself, like, maybe I should push up the ground, get a bit more involved. But Bannister said, no, hold your spot, stay deep, it'll come. Alexander also said that during the week she had been working on coming forward and marking the ball. So, like, what a perfect little concoction of things coming together there.
And she had a lot of players around her. It was like 3 or 4 Eagles sort of in the area, and she just sort of came out full-chested, you know, up at the ball. It was, it's really good. And I think Bannister's right to say that to her about staying deep, because in those situations you need to spread the play. And that, you know, if everyone bunches up, it's going to be so hard to make anything happen, because like there's going to be like 12 players at the drop of the ball. Yeah. Whereas if you lengthen it out a bit, you sort of spread out the defense as well.
She, I like that she backed herself, I think, because the camera closes, puts a close up onto her face after she marks the ball. You can see her just sort of look up with a cheeky little smile on her face. She said, "Oh, I think I'm in here." So, well done to Sophie. She's been a phenomenal contributor to the Bombers since moving across from the team that shall not be named.
One thing I did really like about that is that when she took the mark, the thing I was saying to myself is take the 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because whatever happens, this needs to be the last scoring play. If you hit a point and it's a draw, let's just make sure they can't transition this. Yeah. And she did it. Whereas often I find in those situations, there's 50 seconds left, and after, there's still 30 seconds left after the shot. And it's like, well, anything could happen in 30 seconds. So it was good. She left it with 10 seconds
Great
left.
game sense, yeah.
I did notice when Tom Liberatore from Western Bulldogs, he wore black boots a couple of weeks ago, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's a real footballer who wears black boots." And I would just like to note that both Steph Kane and Mansfield were wearing black boots for this week's game. So if anyone's going to be real footballers, I suppose in our side, it's those two. They're just very no fuss, especially in Mansfield. No showboating, anything like that. Just get in there, get the job done kind of vibes.
All right. I think that might be it for the goods. So let's have a little look at what didn't make us quite so happy. The first being Bonnie's suspension.
Yeah, surprising, because, I remember it happening, the incident, but maybe it's because she got paid the free kick for holding the ball. That just didn't even register with me.
Yeah, I thought nothing of it.
Yeah, that she might be in trouble for that. So it's she's been given 2 weeks for the tackle on Zoe Wackfer in the fourth quarter. It's been graded as rough conduct, careless, high impact, and high contact. We've both watched it back. I think they might be able to get it down to a week. I don't see that there's any chance she's getting off for that.
Yeah, which, it's a shame. We were speaking with the debrief crew before we started our recording, and I fully agree with them. The game's gone. It's all bullshit. Burn the place down.
Yeah, so if anyone hasn't seen it, it's, I don't know, on the AFL website they kind of say it's a sling tackle or a dump tackle. It's not a sling or dump tackle.
It was neither of those things, yeah.
But she did pin both arms, and the head does make contact with the ground, and she never lets go. So both arms are pinned at the point the head makes contact. And I think those are getting rubbed out every time.
Yeah. It was at such low speed as well, though. That kind of
so that's the thing. I'm like, if they could maybe appeal and argue it's medium contact, because, it just wasn't a dump. There wasn't like an aggressiveness to it.
Bonnie kind of did roll herself across a little bit, so it didn't land in her back either.
Yeah, that maybe there's some scope there to say that the force wasn't there for high. Because what happens is with the MRO is that I think this has been like the last year or two, is that whenever head contact is made, they upgrade severity by 1. So if it was originally going to be high force, it becomes severe. If it was going to be medium, it becomes high, so on and so forth. So obviously this was graded as medium and has been upgraded to high because of the head contact. I think they've got a chance of saying it was low, upgrade to medium, which would be weak. But I don't see them arguing that. I mean, there definitely was contact with the ground.
Yeah.
And at the very worst case, that's low, which will be upgraded to medium. So yeah. So I think she misses at least this week, but there's a chance we don't even appeal, knowing us.
Yeah, well, we've got to protect that soft cap.
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah, true.
I mean, yeah, that one actually she got the free kick, but the umps as a whole.
Oh my word! I don't even know where to start. I would say I'm not one to complain about umpires very often, but let's be real, I do.
Well, I said that I was happy that we won, so we could complain about the umps and not be, sour grapes.
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, where do we start? Let's go the holding the balls. Actually, Cordo's got a little bit to say about that, so let's cut to her for a moment.
I did notice that there's apparently a new interpretation of holding the ball this season, which I find quite interesting. Where you have to make a very genuine attempt to dispose. You can't just kind of pretend, punch at the ball and pretend that it looks like you're trying to handball it out. You need to actually make an attempt, otherwise it is going to be called as holding the ball. So I think we're going to see a bit more of that this season.
The holding the ball rule, this year, there's been a clear indication that they're calling it hot. Any prior, a half step of prior, and no real intent to get the ball out, you're going to be pinged.
Yeah.
I don't have much of a problem with that. I think, keeps the game moving a little bit. I don't mind. But if you're going to be that hot on it, be fucking hot on it.
Yeah.
There was just so many that were completely missed that would have been holding the ball under last year's interpretations.
I've had a bit of a think about this, and I think I know what the problem is. And it's funny because if you listen to the media discuss this issue, probably because they're all full of ex-footballers, that the way they frame it is that the problem is that for everyone in a day we've rewarded the ball carrier, that the person that wins the ball, that's the one that gets protected, and now we're rewarding the tackler, and that's ruining the game. I actually think that's not the issue at all.
Yeah.
And I think most fans don't have a problem with them being really hot on holding the ball.
Yeah. I'm more than happy to reward a good tackle that sticks.
I think what the problem is that because they're trying to get people to get rid of it, that getting rid of it in any form whatsoever is seen as fine, play on. Whereas traditionally, when you were tackled and you'd had prior and the ball just spills out, it's dropping the ball, it's a free kick. Whereas now the ball spills out, perfect, play on. That's the problem. It's that all these tackles happen where someone's had prior, they get tackled, the ball comes loose, and everyone's like, well, that's holding the ball, and it's play on because they got rid of it. Yeah. Even though they didn't handball it or kick it or anything. So I think that's where they've got to figure out that you can be as hot on people not getting rid of it, but people still have to dispose of the ball. Yeah. And if it just squirts out, not in the tackle, so it's not like they're getting tackled and the second their arms get hit, the ball comes out. It's like they're getting tackled and then they're kind of shrugging and the ball drops out. That's dropping the ball. That's a free kick. And they've got to pay it. Yeah. Because there were a lot of them where we should have got a free kick where the ball was just thrown out, dropped out, falls out, and it's play on, and you're like, what the fuck?
One that stuck in my mind particularly was Chloe Adams, 15 out in the second quarter, I think it was. Just as plain as day. And it would have been a set shot, 15 out directly in front to, put us another goal up. So
yeah, I do think this is one they will work out eventually, probably when they look back on this year, because obviously their whole problem is that they wanted to make sure that people got rid of the ball. They wanted to stop all the stoppages. So they're incentivizing people just getting rid of it in any way possible. But at some point, you do have to return to the rules of the game, which is that you can't drop the ball.
Yeah. And there were a couple of free kicks that were given that I thought borderline prior opportunity to none. and then just like, you always see in the men's comp the kind of like half-assed pretending to punch it. But you saw a couple of times a player just sort of would get wrapped up instantly, ball held to their chest. What are you going to do about it? Done. Like,
there was one like when Nan Scorn got pinged.
I think that might be the one I'm thinking of.
Where she's on the ground and it like there's two fighting over the ball and it's sort of between her ankles. She never touches the ball with her hands and she gets pinged for holding the ball.
Yeah.
And it's like she clearly didn't drag it in because she never touched it with her hands. It's just, They were just a bit like, I don't think those are like the game problems. There were just a lot of just really bad umpiring calls. The out of bounds one, which was so fucking far out of bounds. There was an umpire right there.
The boundary umpire could not have been in a better spot. And also, to be fair, the broadcast camera couldn't have been in a better spot to spot it as well.
It was like a metre over or more.
So comfortably over. And that, I'm pretty sure that lack of out of bounds call then resulted in them kicking one. And it wasn't the only goal that they were, I'm going to call gifted. There was, I think it was Chloe Adams again that might have been dogged here. No call on a clear high tackle. I think again 10 metres out in front. That then 10 metres out in front of the West Coast goal. That would have been a free kick to us and hopefully a rebound 50. But no, they just collected the ball and kicked a goal.
Yeah, there was some shock. There was just like a lot of like really soft, high contact in marking contests, like arm chopping ones that never looked like anything was there.
Yeah,
and then just really obvious ones going the other way that weren't called. Yeah, it was not a good day for the umpires.
The most obvious one might have been that I originally wrote into our show notes, what the fuck's going on with this 90-metre, 50-metre penalty. And I watched it back and I was like, oh, okay, you're being a bit silly. It wasn't 90 metres. It was only 75.
It's hard to tell because Windhill's so small that it looks like they've gone 3/4 of the field.
It certainly felt like it. And they kicked that goal just before quarter time. I think I've got that out of my system now. So
we can move on.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Chloe Adams again is getting a lot of shout outs this episode. Only played 45% game time.
Yeah, which is like low for a person in her position. I think like Courtney Murphy played 50%, but when there's two rucks, you expect that. And we had obviously Sophie went out injured, but especially given Sophie went out injured and we're playing one short for ever since like halfway through the second quarter. For a small to only play 45% game time, I've got to be wondering if she's going to get dropped this week. I can't understand. Obviously, there was no injury. We didn't see anything like that. She was on the field at the end of the game. So the reason must be like tactical or performance related, in which case.
I kind of feel that her strengths to me are, like Nan Scorn, in contention. She's a bit of a rabid dog, just follows it and hunts and hunts and hunts. And that to me is her skills. Like you touched on last week, using the ball isn't her greatest skill. So if you are going to have her in the ground, you'd probably want her in contention. So she's not going to get that much game time, sort of rotating through midfield, but then getting plonked onto a forward flank or onto a wing.
Yeah, I think she'd probably benefit from being given a role. I think I can see her eventually playing midfield minutes.
Yeah.
I just don't think she's ready for it yet. And I don't see the value, like you said, of her playing forward flank, forward pocket. I don't think she's going to crafty enough or fast enough.
Yeah.
But
maybe as a lockdown small defender.
Yeah, lockdown small, tagger if one's needed.
Yeah.
Doing the Cody Jacks type lockdown thing. I could see it. I mean, she's very dogged. She's strong. She's hard at it. Mm-hmm. Hard as a cat's head.
Yeah.
Can
with
win
some
the
padding
ball
as well.
Yeah, with the padding. Can win the ball. Has no problem sort of finding the pill.
Yeah.
So I think whether she goes out and comes back in or whatever the story is, finding a job for her basically, a more defensively minded job.
Yeah.
I think she could do really well in that, and then that'll keep her in the team until such time as she's ready to kind of get some midfield minutes.
I feel like it's kind of like for the AFLM listeners or followers, it's sort of like the Sardis conundrum of you want to play them to develop them, but they can't fit into the midfield because there's several names in front of them. But you also don't want Sardis playing anywhere else.
Yeah, I think she probably has more to a game that would allow her to do defensive stuff more than Sardis. I think Sardis is a ball-winning player. That's kind of all he does. I don't think he's kind of good enough above his head to play in the forward line.
Yeah.
I don't think he's sort of quick enough or
Physical enough for the wing.
yeah, or like has enough guile to play
Yeah.
small forward, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like he's either in the guts or he's not playing. Whereas I think with her, I could see her being an Andy McGrath and playing
Okay.
back pocket.
Yeah.
Or Jaden Wynn this season, whereas lockdown defender, you know, taking the best small forward from the opposite team, I think she could hang in that kind of a role. And we might find that, you know, it's not like she was like this top 10 draft pick, always destined for greatness as a first string midfielder. It could be that she is an Andy McGrath or that kind of player that will eventually settle as a back pocket or lockdown defender. I just think that suits her game a lot more than playing forward pocket.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you want
Yeah.
Bannister, G, these
Yeah.
players that have got the guile or strength or ability overhead or whatever it is. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with the team this week. Obviously, there were no changes from last week with that great win. This was much closer, injuries as well, so there'll be changes. So, interesting to see who comes in.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting, and I mean, and it is so much harder to read with no VFLW running at the same time. So it does make it a bit tough to figure out what is going to be happening next week.
I mean, the emergencies were the same for both weeks. But like Mia Van Dyke was one of the emergencies, and she's not going to come in for Van der Heuvel or Adams if she's dropped. It'll be a small.
Yeah, I think Verbruga was listed as one of those
Gladman and
emergencies.
Verbruga, I think, were the other two.
Yeah.
Which we've never seen play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would expect that if someone's going to come in, it's going to be one of those two. But
Yeah. Let's move on to.
I just want to say something about the special comments. This was shitting me all game. The special comments woman, I forgot, didn't catch what her name was on the coverage. It just felt like she came into the game with like a narrative for what these two teams were and how they'd play and what they were good at. And then nothing about what happened during the match changed at all her takes on the game. It was just the same narrative as before the game. And she'd obviously come in thinking that, you know, yeah, we're really good in the contest. West Coast are going to torch us on the outside, and that they'll win the game because we can't hang with them once the ball gets outside a contest. And obviously there were portions of the game where that was true, and there were portions of the game where it wasn't true, and we were belting them so badly in the contest that we were winning first ball every time. But yeah, it just felt like whenever they were on, like obviously we talked about before, both teams were on top at various times. Both teams had trouble scoring when they were on top. When they were on top and not scoring, she was like, "Oh, you know, Essendon just can't hang with West Coast. You know, they're going to get this pressure will eventually tell. You know." And when we got on top and weren't scoring, she's like, "Well, we're going to have to fight our demons of not having taken advantage of this rare moment of being on top." It was just completely bizarre. And I was like, I bet we win this game, and this ends up looking really stupid because you clearly just thought we were going to get smacked.
Well, thank God we did. Fantastic. Well, I guess that's our first Ari's Gripe Corner for the year.
Yeah, that is a gripe.
Yeah,
That is a fair
yeah.
gripe. That is a gripe.
Fantastic. We've really kicked off the season now. Then. Let's have a little break, and then we'll get into our Discord questions amongst some other little goodies. All right, time for some questions from our fantastic Discord community. If you want to join that community, there'll be a link in the show notes if you want to sign up to be a member. Well worth it. I think I was a bit skeptical, but the game day chat is it's pretty fun in there. So, yeah, jump in and you'll have the opportunity to not only ask us a question, but also jump in and vote for our Discord People's Champion. Our first question is from Canadian Quagmire's number one hater.
That's a great name.
Is that a Family Guy reference that's going over my head there?
I don't know, because Quagmire's not Canadian. Or maybe he's Canadian and he hates Quagmire. It's possible that's what that means.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
Have to let us know.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that one. Were we expected to be 2-0? Any of those games upset wins? And does KO have minis for AFLW? This was actually answered pretty nicely by Billy05 in the Discord. He says, yep, AFL does have minis on KO. They're about 12 minutes. I do think they also have a shorter highlight package that they put onto YouTube, I think, as well, if your attention span's a bit rotted by TikTok or whatever.
There's also highlights on the AFL app as well.
That's true. The first part of the question, though, 2-0. What do you good, bad?
Yeah, I think we would have been expected to beat GWS.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think this game probably would have been seen as a toss-up. If not, I mean, like even what we were just speaking about before with the commentator, that I think the general view pre-season was West Coast are a team on the up and we're a team on the slide. Although we were above them last year. That they're young, great coach, got a lot of sort of young stars. So probably this, and also it's weird. We tend to beat them in Perth. They tend to beat us in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So this was an upset in that sense.
Yeah. I think it's if we were 0-2, I'd be a little bit worried. If we were 1-1, play on, everything's okay. 2-0, fuck yeah.
I do think we needed to win this game. These because the W season is so short. These kind of 50-50 teams around you matches, you have to win all of them because you can't afford. We look at, we'll talk about Richmond in a minute, who we're playing this week. I mean, they're in huge trouble. You know, people would have tipped them to make the finals this year. Yeah. Probably unlikely now because they've dropped 2 games to teams in their vicinity. You know, dropping games to North or Melbourne or Adelaide or whatever, Brisbane, that's okay. You're expected to do that. It's when you drop these games. That's why, you know, we've got Geelong in 2 weeks' time. Pre the pod, we were having a discussion about that game. And Geelong are 0-2, but they're 0-2 to Adelaide and North. Yeah. So they're fine because as long as they win against us and, you know, Richmond and all these other teams, they'll make finals. But you just can't afford to drop games to teams around you or lower. Yeah,
absolutely. And you said there, you know, we have Richmond and Geelong coming up as well as Fremantle as well. So the next few games are, again, really good tests to see where we're at, because if we come out of that having won 2 of those 3, then I think we can get pretty excited about finals prospects. But
yeah, we'll have a better sense within a few games of, you know, like we're expecting Geelong to be quite good based on how they've done against North and Adelaide. But if they don't win, you know, against Sydney, or they perform badly against Sydney or against us or Richmond or whatever, then that will change and they won't be viewed in that way anymore. You know, Saints brilliantly beat Adelaide last week and then just got absolutely pantsed this week. Fremantle, great win round 1, pants by Brisbane at home. Yeah. You know, so like it's still a bit up in the air. We know, you know, some teams are no good. We know some teams are really good. Everyone else we'll find out more in the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot wait. Thank you very much for that question. All right, let's move on to the Discord People's Champion now. I don't think it would be a surprise to anyone having listened to the first half hour of this podcast, but Amy Gaylor, 3 votes, was just a standout. We don't need to
easiest decision of best on ground. You'll see.
I think racked up about 80% of the votes. So yeah,
I think all but one person voted for it.
nice. Then 2 votes for Bonnie Toogood with her 2 goals. She had. Outside of those goals and outside of those points, she did still provide everything that you expect from Bonnie as a target.
Yeah, I think apart from her goal kick, I think she had a great game. Her marking was great, pressure, tackles. Obviously, she got rubbed out for one of them, but all her parts of her game except her accuracy were fantastic.
And the 3 points that she kicked were all very kickable. So on another day, she does actually kick 5 straight.
Well, yeah, we're talking about that was
all-timer.
A great game. So yeah.
And then Nance Corn with the final vote, which puts her on top of the leaderboard. Only 2 rounds in, obviously, but I think she might take some knocking off. We'll find out.
Although, I mean, Gaylor, her Pressparkus, probably Bonnie as well.
Yeah.
You could see them all being best on ground.
Yeah.
In any given week.
Rotated around the forum.
Yeah. It's just Nance Corn's so consistent that she'll get votes every week.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nanscon getting votes every week is reflected in the coaches' votes that have finally been released. We didn't have them last week, but we've got them now. Nanscon got the 10 votes.
This is for round 1.
For round 1, yep. And 7 votes in this week's. Gaylor with 10, obviously. Ella Roberts, a West Coast player, with 6. Charlotte Thomas and Swanson, also West Coast players, picking up a few, with Toogood and Dale Gleish getting 1 vote apiece. Nanscon again sitting 4th overall in the leaderboard, behind Chloe Malloy, who is obviously having just a ludicrous season to start off with, as is Jazz Garner, and Taya Hanks in 2nd and 3rd. So yeah, she's in with a shout, old Nance.
Yeah, in good company.
Absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't mind having Nanscon, Malloy, and Garner in a team, would you?
Yeah, be a handy outfit.
Absolutely. All right, round 2 preview. This is one of my favourite games in both the men's and the women's seasons. The Dreamtime clash this year up in Darwin, Larrakia country again, 7:15 at TIO Stadium.
Last year was a draw.
And one of the most entertaining games of Essendon AFLW I think I'd seen up until this point. It was just phenomenal. So hopefully another go around of some quality footy would be fantastic. It was such a nice event up in Darwin, having Indigenous around there. I don't know. It's always nice having it at the MCG, and I think a couple of years ago it was at
Perth.
Did we play a Richmond Indigenous game?
We did one in Darwin. Yeah.
But was there also one at Icon like 3 years ago?
Yes. So men's have done it in Darwin, Perth, and G, and we've done it at Darwin and Icon. I think only. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I went to the Icon game, and
we all did.
I'm
pretty sure we were all there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was a nice vibe.
Scotty did a great run through goal. It was a great move. It's actually Clarkey to Scotty. We're both neither with us anymore. But yeah. So
it was a nice vibe there, but
I don't think we've lost a Dreamtime. We've drawn a Dreamtime. I don't think we've lost one yet.
Okay, all right. The opportunity to win 2 Dreamtimes in a single year. A little bit of backstory on the Tigs. They've lost both games so far. The first was against Sydney in opening round, 58-38 up north. Not a incredibly surprising result.
Again, Richmond were tipped for good things this year. People thought they would be in the top 8. I think that was the general consensus from media types pre-season. Sydney are tipped to rise this year, but from a low base of being quite crap last year. But we were talking before the podcast started, Sydney's top 5 players are insanely good.
Yeah.
And all very young and only going to grow, but they are going to be a very good team.
Yeah,
in
and
the
really good atmosphere at their home ground as well. So I'll give them a pass on that. But losing to the Dogs 21-42 is
not good.
A disaster for them. Let's be real. The Dogs have been pretty poor for a few years now. they're not really tipped to be anything but a bottom six side again. I wouldn't have thought. But the Dogs just kicked away in the last quarter, which is pretty hectic. And their coach Ferguson said after the game that the side completely lacked confidence. So I think it might be a nice time to play them.
Yeah, I think. I mean, when we played the Dogs last year, it was quite a tight game, and we only just sort of got over the line. I think the Dogs are quite talented, very, very young and inexperienced.
Super young, yeah.
So, like, on their day, when they put it all together, they've got the sort of skill and ability to play a good game. They're just not going to do it very often. Also
missing that number 1 draft pick over the weekend as well. So.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of, like, a top-end drafts of the last few years. But the Tigs, I just think like they've got 3, maybe 4 really good players. I just don't think their list is very good. I just think there's a huge drop off, and losing like Sheeran as well.
Losing Sheeran's a massive, massive, massive loss.
Yeah, I think there's a huge gap in their list.
Yeah.
And they're kind of quite average. So when you come up against like a skillful, young, exuberant Dogs outfit, even though there's so much less experience than them, they can get run over. But yeah, everyone, we spoke pre-season. Everyone tipped us to be a slider this year. Richmond could be it.
Yeah,
quite easily.
Yep. You were talking about Richmond's top end talent there. They do have a few massive names. Conti and McKenzie, Monique Conti, Ellie McKenzie. They are 2 of the league's best players. Well, Conti has shown it for a long time. McKenzie has, the biggest future, you can imagine. So I feel like if we beat both of those 2, that's it.
Yeah. Both McKenzie and Conti are in the top 15 in the league for clearances. We have 3 in the top 15 in the league for clearances in Gaylor, Nanscorn and Press Barker. So they're all in the top 15. So we have the cattle to beat them. And also, like, one thing, I love Mackenzie. I think she's going to be an absolute star. She's only, I think, 21 or something. Mm-hmm. But I remember when we played them last year, it was really apparent how difficult we found it to compete with her physically. She is like a big, strong unit.
Yeah.
I think I'm much less concerned about that this year.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that's a huge change from this year last year. I think we are much sort of bigger and stronger in there nowadays.
So would you like to see Gaylor go to Mackenzie? Not necessarily as a tag or a run with, but a battle between those 2?
Yeah, I think that could be quite a battle. I think, it could be quite interesting because I think Gaylor probably is giving up quite a bit of height, but she's so good in the air and above her head. That
also, she's also a little bit taller than our other options of Nanscorn and Press Barkers.
Yeah, but see, like you could bring in Bellany into midfield and tag her. I mean, Bellany will compete with her physically. They're like the same size.
I don't mind it. I do want to see Nanscorn go to Conti, I think. Because I think Conti has the ability to take a game away from anybody at any point.
My only concern with that is Conti's spread. So that's like maybe Gaylor and Conti is the better because they can spread. That's whenever Conti's burned us, it's that when she got the ball, she'd get away from the stoppage quicker than any of our other midfielders. Kano used to go with her in the past.
Yeah.
But I doubt Kano will be in enough centre, in enough sort of stoppages. Maybe she will. Maybe who knows? It's like with Sophie van der Heuvel. It depends who gets moved there. Like I think there'll be a lot of pieces moving around. But I think Gaylor's quick enough to go with Conti, and probably will dominate her physically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, interesting to see what Woody does.
In a pretty dour day for the Tigers, Conti did get 21 touches, 5 clearances, 12 tackles against the Dogs. So, yeah, definitely one to watch. A couple of other names. I won't go into too much detail, but Poppy Kelly, Caitlin Greiser, Grace Egan, Maddie Shevlin, Katie Brennan have all got the ability to pop up and be a bit of a worry.
One thing I heard spoken about their game is they really struggle with forward connection.
Yeah.
So they really struggle to sort of, link midfield with attack.
Yeah.
And considering how sort of miserly we've been defensively and how structurally sort of sound we've been, I'm quite sort of looking forward to see what we do to them in that regard, because our problem's been transitioning from defence, but actually holding up. And I think there was some crazy stat where they had like 50 inside 50s and took like 4 marks or something.
Well, I was listening to, I think it's Sarah Ollie and is it Gemma Bastiani's podcast, I believe. I think I remember them saying that only once did they rebound from defensive 50 to forward 50 against the Dogs, which is obviously nowhere near good enough, but they also had 0 marks inside 50.
Oh, really?
Which is surprising to me, given that they do have a little bit of forward threat with Caitlin Geyser, and Mackenzie has definitely popped up and kicked goals before. So
yeah, I just think with Brennan and Geyser, they're kind of, I think they're going to struggle to beat people on the move. Mm-hmm. They're not that sort of quick and powerful. Like, you sit on Brennan's head, she can out wrestle you, but like Bonnie can do that, but she can also get on the move and you won't catch her. Whereas I think that's probably a problem that the Tigers forward line has, that they're quite strong and in the contest, but are they going to spread and sort of get free and, maybe on Gamble, because Gamble was actually really good moving around and intercepting. So,
that's the thing. Like, Gamble definitely had at least 2, maybe 3 contested intercept marks in D50. Gaylor had 1 or 2. Like, we have, Georgia Clark has the ability to fly across and take grabs. Like, we've got so many defenders and players around the ground that are good aerially.
Yeah, and we're missing Maddie Gay, who's the best of the best in that regard.
Yeah, so it's really interesting matchup. And obviously the Tigers have only kicked 21 points and 38 points. And, we've been very stingy so far this year. So, hopefully we can lock them out. Scotty Watch. What's going on with Scotty? We know she had an absolute stinker round 1. I'll even take the second to get up their stats from the first round, because I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before.
It was like 7 disposals and like 4 free kicks against or something.
I think it might have been 5 free kicks against even. Here we go.
Classic Scotty.
Scotty had 7 touches, only 26 metres gained, but very, very crucially, 5 free kicks against.
Yeah. That's a classic Scotty performance.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch that game, but I can only assume that at least 3 of those were for unrealistic attempts.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Slightly bit of improvement from them round 2, kicking a goal from a nice run-down tackle. But they had very little impact outside of that.
There was talk of an injury as well.
Yeah, got a knock to their ankle in the second quarter, but they did come out in the second half. So
okay. So
it might be one of those TBCs potentially.
From Richmond.
We might not know where Scotty's going to be until later in the week.
Yeah, and it looks like Yasir, who was going to come to us as part of that deal originally, is sort of struggling as well. Only I think 2 disposals last week. So and that we were talking about how dysfunctional their forward line's being, and that kind of makes sense that they're just really struggling to get the ball and moving it in there.
And I mean, you would have thought if there were no marks inside 50, you assume that some balls are falling to ground. And if Yasir's only getting 2 disposals and Scotty's only getting 7, they're not getting the work done, at the feet of the...
Yeah, but if they're struggling to transition so much...
Yeah, might just not have been there.
Yeah, might just not been there that much.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into our match predictions. Ari, let's go, mate. Most goals, best on, and results.
Well, so no Bonnie this week in all likelihood. So that's going to change forward structure a little bit, or quite a bit. You'd think Sophie Alexander's going to have to play a lot more. Yeah, I'm going to go Soph.
Sophie Alexander, nice. I'm going to go quite left field. We saw this last year when Bonnie was out with her injury, that Gamble swung forward.
Oh, Yeah, possible.
So I'm going to chuck Gamble down for 2 goals as equal highest goal kicker.
I would be surprised if she got swung with the big units that Richmond have got, but you never know.
Yeah, I do want to see it. Just like some of those contested marks over the weekend. I love seeing that in D50, but
Yeah, it'd be
damn,
nice
I want to see that.
forward line,
Forward.
yeah. By the way, I'm pretty sure I said we'd win by 9 points, won by 5, so I was pretty close last
Okay,
week.
not bad, not bad.
Tooting my own trumpet for a second.
Toot your own trumpet for missing by about 50%. But. Best on.
Gaylor, back it up.
Gaylor, nice. I will go with. I think Maggie McLaughlin's going to have another big one.
Nice one.
Results. I will say that we get this done by 12 points.
17 for me.
17, nice. Well, fingers crossed those pan out.
Should we go around the grounds quickly?
Let's do it. Plenty to look at over the weekend.
Yeah. I can't wait for best and fairest night because if Jazz Garner doesn't, and I think there's like a quite decent chance that she won't get 3 votes, despite the fact that she had 31 and kicked 6, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I think Ash Riddell had like 43 possessions or something. She had over 40 for sure. So like, this is one of those games where everyone's like 31 and kicking 6. That's 3 votes if ever you've seen it, and Ash Riddell gets the 3. I could even be tempted to put a bet on that might happen.
Nice. I saw a post from Sir Swamp Thing on Twitter. It was a list of all of the players, men's and women's, to have 30 touches and 6 goals in a game. I'll give you 30 seconds. Can you name 1 or 2 for me?
How long?
There's only been one female.
And men's?
There has been 2, 4, 6, 7, and 1 repeater.
And okay, I need one more clue.
AFL era only since 2000. Well, that's not AFL era, but yeah.
So modern,
yeah.
31 and 6. Gary Ablett Jr.
Gary Ablett isn't there.
Oh, thought for sure. 31 and 6.
There's there's a couple of names I never would have picked actually. The repeater, a former cat and giant.
Cat and giant. Oh, Jeremy Cameron.
Stevie J.
Stevie J. 31, Stevie J.
But I will give you a point because Jeremy Cameron is one.
Yeah, because he could certainly get 31.
Oh yeah.
Revolt?
Revolt, no. We're thinking.
Nick, I was thinking, by the way.
Well, it's a very strange mix of players. I was going to say.
Well, because there's like the hybrid sort of Richo, Nick Revolt, Jeremy Cameron up the ground, gets a lot of the ball.
There's only one of that mould.
As Jeremy Cameron.
One left.
One left.
A bit more old school. We're talking noughties.
Pavlich?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And then a couple.
And then the other ones that got to be mids that kick goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke Hodge. I would never have picked him if kicking 6.
No. Petrarca?
Petrarca, no. Robbie Gray, another.
Oh, yeah.
And Miko Walter.
Oh, I would never have got that.
No, neither. And Brett Ratton.
Yeah. Who's the other woman that's done it?
Just Jazz.
Oh, Just Jazz.
Just Jazz.
Just Jazz, yeah.
First to ever do it.
I think I can remember a game last year that Ponta had a massive game where she got like high 20s and like 5 or 6 goals. So people got close, but it's a crazy game.
Yeah, and especially in the women's when you're playing almost a quarter less of football.
Yeah, and like disposal short because a lot of stoppages and that kind of thing, but very rarely people kick massive bags.
Yeah.
Scores are always much smaller.
Yeah.
So
speaking of massive bags,
yes,
Chloe Malloy has equalled the most ever goals kicked in a W match with 7. Could have been more too. She'd be kicking herself that she didn't knock up 10, but I mean, she has been.
Well, and one more for the record, even. Just,
yeah, it's true. It's true. She'd be. Yeah, surely she's a bit, side eyeing some teammates for not hitting up that last time. But
well, and as well, I think they mentioned this on the one of the AFL wrap up shows. but last year the leading goal kicker in the league kicked like 24 for the season.
Wow.
And Malloy's on 21. No.
Well, she kicked 5 or 4.
Yeah, no,
in
she's
League
on
One?
she's on more than half of what. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think she should be on 12 or something.
No, she's on. Yeah.
This will take us one little second. Bear with us. Stats, season, leaders. Malloy's got 11.
11. And it was 24 last year. She's got 11 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
Um,
And also just some massive scores around the league in general. We had
Yeah.
a few teams knock up the century, which, doesn't happen too frequently in the dub.
no. And some like absolute smashings as well.
Yeah, so just scores seem to be up across the league, really. Like,
Melbourne have a percentage of 520.7
oh
after 2
my
games.
God. That's terrifying. That's under 12 stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. 500%. Christ. All right. I think that might be it for us for the night and for the week. Cannot wait till Friday night. It is going to be a thumper. I think the Bombers will go to 3-0, which is just so strange to
Stick
hear.
it right up all those
Yeah.
fucking pundits who said we were going to slide this year.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Bastards.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Count the planes.
Absolutely. Up the planes.
Get it done, ladies.